What's up, Nail Geeks? I am taking a brief break from the Black Friday posts. Sidebar, I do have 3 more of them to show you all, so stay tuned today as I'll have those posted too. In this video, I'm going over polish pickup. The theme this month is winter is coming. The items are pretty heavily capped, so I'm going to try something a little bit new this time. And on the captions for each polish, I'm going to show you guys the caps for each. Now this month, the opening date is a little bit weird. It's going to be on Monday this time next week. So I'm going to go over 21 items that were sent to me for review. So I'm going to try to keep this as short and sweet as possible, as that's how I prefer it. So let's dive right in. First up, we've got Baroness X's Acetone Antidote in the scent I Want a Pink Christmas Tree. This is going to be $4.50 and the cap will be $145 and 10 UK. So this month we have a adorable holographic little vinyl that comes along with the acetone antidote. This smells lovely in person. It smells so much like the holidays. It has a bit of that nice evergreen scent to it, but it has just a soft type of powdery scent with it too. It's so very pleasant. I typically use 2 to 3 drops in my dap and dish for cleanup, and I also add an entire vial into an 8-ounce pump bottle for polish removal. It gives you the benefits of acetone with the strength of it, but it also leaves your cuticles nice and moisturized with a soft, lingering scent behind. And Baroness X also brings us a polish this month. This is Ice Bubble Flambe, described as a blurple to light pink thermal with blue to violet shimmer and microflakes, a light dusting of large particle hollow pigment, and ultra thin silver hollow micro glitters. This is inspired by flammable ice bubbles that form in ice on some lakes. Price will be $11 and the cap is $80 US and $3 UK. So this one has a very crelly formula on application. It builds up crazy fast to opacity, as you're seeing here on that first coat. Very nice formula. It stays exactly where you place it, and the buildup is wonderful. So on the first coat here, you are seeing that cold state. It is a really flattering, cool-toned blurple shade. And on the second coat here in between, you can see that warm state starting to come out. Very, very temperature reactive. I had no issues getting it to transition. I really enjoyed this brand's thermals, as you pull out the brush from the bottle, and at least in my my home's setting with the temperature, you can see it on the brush transitioning shades. It's really, really cool. So here on that second coat, I have full opacity. It's nice and plumped out. Now this one does dry down somewhat matte, so personally I would recommend a glossy top coat, which is what you're seeing on the full hand shot here. And I went in to be a little extra, and I'm showing you guys warm water and ice water just to show you the different transitions that you'll see across the nail. That cold color is a lovely pinky type shade. It does have a nice rosy tone to it. And we have blush lacquers next. This is Meet Me Under the Mistletoe, described as an olive holographic polish with small hollow flakes and varying sizes of iridescent glitters that subtly shift from hints of orange, yellow, and green. This is going to be 12 and there is no cap on it. So I really love Victoria's holographics. They're always just really extra and just super blingy. This one's no exception. For opacity on it, I'm going to suggest 2 coats. It does have just a somewhat jelly-like feel on the brush strokes, but it does build up to opacity very nicely. Per usual, my bottles get a good shake before applying, and as you can see, I had no problems getting those little iridescent glitters to come up from the bottle. So they laid down nice and flat for me, no issues to report there. And they just give you that little bit of an extra oomph factor to the overall look. So upon buildup, you'll see it is an olive green. I feel like it's on the slightly lighter side for an olive. I do feel like the video is being color accurate, at least what I'm seeing here on my monitor. And it does dry down semi-gloss, so personally, I think any top coat will be just fine with it. I had no texture issues or anything like that. Everything was nice and smooth after top coating, and you can see here on the full hand shot, those little iridescent glitters give a really nice little peeking out sparkle across the nail. And next we have by Danny Viana. This is Cozy by the Fire, described as a rusty red-orange with holographic pigment. This is inspired by cold weather. Price will be $11.50, and there's a 200 US and 15 UK bottle cap. So the formula on this one is crazy to me. I'm going to classify this one as a one coat polish. As you can see here on that first coat, it's just ultra smooth, ultra glossy, very buttery, and super satisfying on those brush strokes. Wonderful formula here. I mean, this was just insane on application. As you can see here, I pretty much could have stopped here, but I do like to kind of plump out the polishes as I'm wearing them. So I'm showing you guys how I would wear it in real life. On that second coat, I'm going in very, very thin just to kind of really just enrich that color. And you can see we've got a gorgeous reddish type of rusty red, kind of orange leaning shade here. This is a really interesting color to me. Now, since it does dry down glossy, I would recommend any top coat. You are seeing a glossy top coat, quick dry applied on the final look here. And Cameo Colors Lacquers brings us Sun-Kissed Snowbanks, described as an icy blue-gray crelly, scattered holographic, with strong golden sheen, gold metallic, and silver holographic micro flakes, as well as blue to violet copper ultra chrome flakes. This is inspired by a picture of the namesake. Price will be $11, and the cap is $95 US and $5 UK bottles. So the formula on Sun-Kissed feels very crelly-like to me. It does have just a tiny bit of squish to it. It applies very opaque on the nail. For opacity, I'm going to suggest 2 coats on it, and you'll be good to go. This evens out wonderfully on the nail. I think even if you overworked it slightly, it's still going to be just fine on application. This has such a lovely golden type glow to it. This one was really, really pretty. There's a lot of scattered things going on here, including a very subtle sparkle, and those flakes are of the small, medium, and large variety. So I made sure to get that really nice big one that came out on that final coat, and I made sure to plant it right there so you can kind of see it poking out, especially on my macro shots. It does dry down kind of satin-like, so personally I would recommend a glossy top coat, which is what you're seeing on the final shot here. And next we've got Crystal Knockout. This is Pastel Mirror, described as a soft pink with chrome finish, a golden shift, and purple iridescent shimmer. This is inspired by a photo of a wintry lake scene. Price will be $11, and there is a cap of $80 US and $10 UK bottles. Now this one has a very crelly-like application to it, just a bit on that plump side for that squishy factor. For opacity, I'm going to suggest between 2 and 3 coats. This one's really going to depend on how you apply, though personally I think 3 thin coats is really going to make that glowy stuff kind of pop out. So I would classify this one as almost a neutral. I felt like it wore like a neutral on me against my skin tone. This is really, really pretty. It's just a soft pink, but that shimmer here is just really, really strong, and it gives you that lovely iridescent feel. At extreme angles, you'll see it shift over to a purpley state. Just really pretty. Personally, I would recommend going in with light brush strokes just so you can avoid any potential streaks across the nail. Otherwise, I had no problems with it. As you can see here on that third coat, lovely opacity starting to come out, and I'm just making sure to make those brush strokes really broad. Now this one does dry down on the semi-satin side, so personally I once again would recommend a glossy top coat, which is what you're seeing here on the full hand shot. And next up, we've got DRK Nails. This is Gratitude, described as a pastel duochrome shifting from pink to green, with a foil and holographic finish and iridescent flakes in blue to purple. This is inspired by the maker's feelings for this year. Price will be $12, and there is a $130 US and $20 UK bottle cap. So this is one of the first times I'm working with this brand, and I was very, very pleasantly impressed with the formula and the brush on this one. I do appreciate a paddle brush, and I feel like on my wide load nails, it definitely helps with applying. This one is crazy sparkly in person. I feel like my swatches did not do this one justice. There's a very fine but very dense sparkle going on with it. Very, very pretty. There's also a lovely glowing effect from it, from that shimmer. You'll see a easy golden glow that kind of shifts over to a pinkish type state at angles. Really wonderful. Now it does dry down kind of satin-like, so personally, because this is just so much hollow going on here, I would recommend a glossy top coat. And those of you with longer nails might need a third thin coat. Now, DRK Nails also brings us a stainless steel stamping plate this month. This is a lovely snowflake pattern. It's a full-on image here, so you can pretty much pull images from any part of the plate and you'll be able to get a lovely design. This one will be $7.50 and the cap is at 50 US and 10 UK bottles. So instead of going in with some really complex design, I just wanted to show it over that gorgeous polish pickup shade she created. So I'm just going in with a black stamping polish. This is Funky Fingers Dark Night. The plate is very well etched, so I had no issues on the first go. I was able to pick up an image from it, and I'm going in with a clear jelly stamper and just placing it over the PPU shade. So you can see here, really nice. I cleaned up, top coated, and I thought both stamping plate image and the polish went together very well. And next we have Emily Damali. This is Capture the Dream, described as a dark purple base with a silvery magnetic effect. This is inspired by the movie Blades of Glory. Price will be $11 and there is no cap on it. So I'm really digging this brand's magnetics lately. She's been bringing it with the magnetics that are in a creamy base and they're just literally singularly a magnetic polish. Really pretty. Now, this one has a very creamy formula to it. I accidentally, in my opinion, went in just a touch heavy. However, the formula is very forgiving, super strong, self-leveling, and as you can see here, I just kind of worked it out and easy peasy. It just self-leveled very well on its own. So for opacity, I'm going to suggest 2 coats on it and you'll get that nice plump factor. No problems with cleanup. I usually go in with a cleanup brush and acetone with antidote in it, and you can see I had no staining or any problems removing it, even though that base color is very pigmented in person. This is a crazy, flattering, cool toned purple shade, and that magnetic pigment gives a really nice ethereal type of silvery glow. I thought it was absolutely wonderful and very pleasant. Your eyes just automatically go over to that magnetic pigment on the final look. Here I am wearing a glossy top coat and you can see just wonderful movement from the magnetic pigment and no issues whatsoever to report. Now, Fair Maiden Polish brings us Snowberries. This is described as a white curly polish with red to gold to magenta to violet shimmer and multi-chrome flakes. Inspired by its namesake, price will be $11 and there is no cap on it. So, white curly alert, sound off the alarms. This one has a beautiful formula and that new paddle brush really helps it apply on the nail. No problems. It does have a bit of a squishy jelly-like factor to it. However, you'll see here in just a moment, it builds up very quickly to opacity even for a white base. So there is that lovely shimmer going on here. You'll get a nice pinky type of glow with it. And those flakes are of various sizes, so you'll get a really nice shredded effect across the nail. They lay down nice and flat for me, no issues to report here with them. Now, those of you with slightly longer nails, you might need a 3rd coat on this one, unless you've got a free edge about the same length as me or shorter. I think you'll be just fine at 2 coats. Really nice formula here, very flattering. I really enjoyed the contrast of those flakes against that white base, just really pretty. Honestly, I feel like the makers absolutely nailed it this month for their inspirations. Here in the full hand shot, once again, I've got a glossy top coat and I have no texture or anything to report on that. Now, Girly Bits brings us I Came, I Thaw, I Conquered, described as a soft and feminine lilac purple with color shifts that travel from blue and light turquoise to purple to pink and violet. This is inspired by Ice Age. Price will be $13 and there is no cap on it. So this one has a creamy formula to it, though there is a touch of squish. This is crazy luminescent in person. I got a little acrobatic on my macro shots to make sure that you guys saw at least some of the shift. I don't think I did it justice. In person, in bright lights or kind of normal lighting, you'll see what you see here on the video. It's crazy luminescent in person as a strong blue glow. At angles, you'll easily see it shift over to a very bright type of purple. This is really strong on that shimmer factor. Now for opacity, once again, I'm going to suggest 2 coats and you'll be good to go. As you can see here, I'm going in kind of light-handed, though with a little bit more loaded up on my brush for that 2nd coat. I would go in personally light-handed on your brush strokes just to avoid any potential streaking with it. and you'll get what you see here. Really, really strong glow factor. This is crazy flattering. I really like that the shift goes from a cool tone to a warm tone, so it really gives you that awesome contrasting factor. I did top off with my usual glossy top coat here on the full hand shot, and you can see just really crazy pretty in person. Now, Glisten and Glow brings us all of the other reindeer, described as a white-based glitter crelly packed with a variety of sizes and shapes of red to green and gold glitters, inspired by the children's book All of the Reindeer. Price will be $12, and there is a $160 US and $20 UK bottle cap. Now, this one has a very satisfying, ultra smooth crelly formula that leans, in my opinion, more so on a cream factor. Very, very nice on the application. For opacity, for a white crelly, I'm pleased to report back, I would suggest 2 coats and you'll be good to go. This one is packed full of those super fun glitters. I had no issues with them whatsoever. They came up very easily out of the bottle and onto my nails. They laid down nice and flat for me. Now, this one does dry down somewhat on the matte side, so I think any top coat will really do, to be honest, as it is that lovely crelly glitter type polish. I went in normal with my top coat and I had no texture with it, so everything is super smooth on this, and you'll see a lovely self-leveling factor on that second coat. So here, full hand shot. Now, Glisten and Glow also brings us a cuticle oil and cuticle remover pen duo to the shop. This one is scented in Winter Cheer for both of them, which is a custom blend of orange, cinnamon, clove, cranberry, and baked vanilla. Price will be $12, and there is no cap on it. Now, every Friday I have to do this routine. I use a cuticle remover and I baby my nails, and then that's in preparation for swatching. So I'm going in with the cuticle remover, and on the instructions it said to leave it on for 60 seconds, and I usually like to go in and just slather it onto my cuticle area. As you can see here, it comes out very easily from the pen. You'll give it just a couple clicks of a turn and you'll start getting product out on that brush. Please know I am not a nail tech. However, I've been blogging for several years and into polish for several years, but I'm not a nail tech by no means, so just take that in mind. This is just how I do it to my own personal hands, and it's what works for me over the years. After 60 seconds, I go in with an orange stick and I gently kind of scrape around the area, and you'll start to see some of that those dead cells kind of come up. If you are not on the hard skinned side like myself, I would go in with one of those metal pushers, and those are a little more gentle. I've been doing this for a while, and my skin around my nails are very hard, so I personally enjoy using the orange stick as it really just helps scrape everything up. So this one's definitely going to depend on your preference. So afterwards, I have filed, I have trimmed down, I have washed with soap and water to remove everything, and I used a nail brush to kind of wash everything off in the water. And then I'm going in with the cuticle oil, and this is wonderful for application. I get a really, really nice amount of product on that brush. Now, you want to make sure you go under with your free edge to make them nice and bendy, which is what helps with the strengthening process for your nails. The scent overall is a lovely holiday smell, very, very much on the cinnamon, kind of clovey, kind of baked smell with that hint of orange there. Very, very pleasant. And next up, we've got Indie by Patty Lopez. This is Welcome to My Castle, described as a white crelly base with micro hollow blue glitters and a mix of white and blue glitters. This is inspired by a frozen castle. Price will be $11, and there is a $80 US and $5 UK bottle cap on it. So we have a lovely crelly formula once again. This applies very nice on the nail. I do want to note I do feel like it is on the softer, more delicate side for finish. So this one's really going to depend for opacity on how you want to wear it. I had no problems with the glitters laying down nice and flat for me. And as you can see here, in just a moment on the second coat, in the bright lights, you can see just a touch of my visible nail line once again. However, I thought it looked just right here. This one kind of reminded me of a gel polish in how it looks after you top coat. I went in normal with that, by the way, and I had no texture with it. Everything was smooth to the touch. And you can really see that lovely contrasting effect between the white and the blue here. There is also a dense but very fine particle twinkle from those little tiny glitters here. Really, really pleasant. and I just thought it was really perfect at that 2-coat mark. If you've got longer nails, then yes, I probably would suggest a 3rd coat. And if visible nail line bothers you, then you might want to wear an undie with it. And Lemming Lacquer brings us Flame of Hope, described as a winter blue crelly base with red to bronze to copper shifting shimmer, green to gold, orange, and red iridescent flakes, and scattered hollow dust. This is inspired by The Little Match Girl by Hans Christian Andersen. Price will be $13, and there is a 125 US and 25 UK bottle cap on it. So we have a lovely crelly-like polish. This is of the heavier variety, which is personally what I'm used to with this brand. She does make them a little bit more dense on pigments and glitters and all that good stuff. I had no problems applying this one as well as any of her other ones. Sidebar, I do have her Black Friday post coming up very soon, but I digress. So here on that 2nd coat, you can really see that nice buildup. Now this one does dry down quite a bit on the matte side, so to really exploit all those lovely flakes and those little sparkles and shimmer here, I would recommend a very glossy top coat to really make this one pop like crazy. This is so very opaque on application. I really can't see anybody needing to go to a 3rd coat, to be honest. Really nice heavy formula here that's easy to apply. As you can see, after that glossy top coat, everything starts to pop and you get that really gorgeous glowy effect from the shimmer and that iridescent feel from the flakes. And Night Owl Lacquer brings us Nothing Burns Like the Cold. This is described as a smoky navy blue filled with copper to red to gold to green, color shifting crystal chameleon flakes, and a sprinkle of hollow micro flakes. This is inspired by a quote from George R.R. Martin. Price will be $12.50, and there is no cap on it. So we've got what I consider, once again, a crelly formula. This one is very smooth on those brush strokes, really nice medium type formula. For opacity on it, I'm going to suggest 2 coats. As you'll see here in just a moment, it starts to pop like crazy after the 1st coat, and you'll get a really nice scattering of those wonderful flakes across the nail, which give you a warm shift that really contrasts against that base color. I want to note that I do feel like on my monitor, my swatches, and my video, I do feel like it is coming across color accurate to what I'm seeing in person. Very pleasant color. It's definitely what I would consider a teal, but it's got that slightly midnight blue type effect going on with it too. So after top coating with my normal top coat, which actually is from this brand, I had no texture whatsoever. Everything was nice and smooth and glossy, and no issues to report here. And Poetry Cowgirl Polish brings us It's Snow Cold, described as a delicate sheer white base packed with iridescent glitters and sparkles, a hint of pink to purple to orange shifting shimmer, and is inspired by the look of freshly fallen snow in morning light. Price will be $11.50, and the cap is 140 US and 10 UK bottles. So please note this one was intended to be sheer so that you can really see all of those shimmers and tiny little microflakes really become prominent with it. So I think you'll see just a touch of your visible nail line regardless of how you wear it, whether it's at 2 or 3 coats. I think this one looked fantastic over a white base, but honestly, I thought this was really lovely on its own too. So it's got that soft, delicate feel, and you can easily see those little blue sparkles across the nail. You'll get a lot of them on application between your layers that create a lovely pond effect. Now this one does dry down matte, so personally I would recommend a glossy top coat once again that you're seeing on the full hand shot, and you'll see that really lovely iridescent feel against that nice white snowy like base. Now Pretty Beautiful Unlimited brings us Wonderland, described as a lightly tinted grayish leaning blue holographic base with unicorn pigment that shifts between purple to gold and green and topped off with crystal chameleon flakes. This is inspired by a snowy winter scene. Price will be $12, and there is a 150 and 15 UK bottle cap on it. So this has a very opaque feel on application and applies very nicely on the nail. There is a touch of a jelly-like feel on application, and you can see in just a moment that it builds up crazy fast to opacity. There's a lot of hollow to see on this one, and that unicorn pigment is very, very pleasant. You'll easily see it shift from a lovely pinky type of fuchsia in person over to a gold and green at specific angles. The flakes here are of the medium variety in my opinion, so you'll get a nice little pond effect going with that too. Now it does dry down kind of satin-like, so I would recommend a glossy top coat just to really make everything pop, and you'll get that crazy sparkle effect across the nail. Now Pretty Beautiful Unlimited also brings us a wax bundt cake in the scent The Bomb. This is inspired by the colors of the Alaska Bomb Desert, but scented like grandma's baking up a storm during the holidays. Scents of almonds and cherries mingle with the sweet candied fruits of fruitcake, followed by citrus and spice, with hints of vanilla and cream. The cake is approximately 2.75 ounces. The price will be $4.50 and there is a cap of 58 and 6 UK. This one smells so very pleasant. It reminds me of definitely a fruit cake. I get a touch of bakery with it, but also that nice fruity scent comes out with it too. Very, very pleasant and excellent throw on my warmer. And Quixotic Polish brings us Make It Stop, described as a golden super holographic polish loaded with red to green multichrome shimmer, inspired by Mariah Carey's famous song. Price would be $11.50 and there is a 300 US and 25 bottle cap on it. So this one applies almost like a kind of metallic-like feel on application because it is just so loaded with holographic pigment in it. For opacity, I'm going to suggest 2 coats on it and you'll be good to go. This is so crazy holographic, but also shifty. It's very, very glowy in person. You'll see it as a very strong copper, almost bronzish, and then at angles, you'll see it go over to that lovely, strong gold effect. I tried to capture all of the shifts of it on my macro shots. I definitely did not do this one justice in my opinion. There's a ton of glow from that shimmer. It's very luminous in person, no texture with it whatsoever. I did go in with my normal quick dry glossy top coat and you can see here on that full hand shot, so crazy strong. Even though it's of the warmer variety for tone, I thought it popped like crazy on me. And finally, we have Scofflaw Nail Varnish. She brings us Bronto Snow Russ, described as a light blue jelly with shifting blue to green shimmers, icy flecks, green micro glitters, and scattered hollow. So the price on this one will be $12 and there is no cap on it. And you can see here that really adorable butt label going on. I thought that was so cute. I think it'd make a great t-shirt. I digress. So the description says that it's a jelly, but I do feel like it applies like acrylic. It has a very creamy feel on application. This is a very crazy, flattering base color. I thought it popped very well on me. You'll get a lot of those teeny tiny little finely scattered sparkles across the nail. This one also dries down a bit on the matte side, so I would recommend a glossy top coat with it. You can see here on that second coat, we've got lovely opacity buildup, very, very pleasant. And the formula stays exactly where you put it. No issues to report on this one. And it has that really lovely, tiny, tiny little blue fleck across it too. You can kind of see it in my macro shot that I'll post at the end of the video for the recap. And just really lovely and pleasant. Very kind of wintry, kind of a spearmint color with a blue lean to it. I do feel like the video and my swatches were being color accurate to what I see here in person. Once again, at least on my monitor. And as you can see, after top coating, I had no problems with it and it really made all of those little pigments pop. Now, polish pickup is opening at a slightly different time this month. It will be open Monday, December 2nd at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, and the sale will run until Friday, December 6th at 11:59 Eastern Time. So you'll have 5 days this time to shop the site. Please note that these products have pretty heavy caps on them, so wish listing is currently open right now. All the info is out there on the site. You can definitely start getting that shopping list ready to go. I'll link you guys below to Polish Pickup's Facebook fan group so you can check out all of the other swatches for many of the other products that are going to be available, and Polish Pickup, the shop itself, so you can get that wish list ready to go. I'll also link you guys to my blog post below that will have all of this information broken down. I'm also going to break down as much as I can in the description box, but please note if you want the finer details, I've got it all on my blog post. I think the makers did absolutely phenomenal this month. I felt like it was going to be a lot of Game of Thrones theme, which personally, I'm a huge fan of the show, but I really enjoyed seeing their inspirations this month. I think they knocked it out of the park. This is probably one of my favorite month so far. I thought last month topped it off for me, but I really enjoyed the variety that I'm seeing this month for all of the things. Let me know in the comments below what you liked the best. Did the cap info on my little captions work? How's it coming across in your screens? Please let me know. I might go ahead and start doing this for future polish pickup videos, but let me know. Give me some feedback, please, and I will know whether or not I need to adjust font or anything like that. As always, if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching.